I welcome you to our weekly installment of Conversations with Joy. We have this week Shannon Kidwell, who is also known as Fit Piglet. She will talk about her Fit Piglet revolution. Shannon is a trainer here in the Central Florida area. She is also a yoga instructor. She has her book, Fit Piglet, Freshitarian Kitchen, or Freshitarian Lifestyle. And she has a service where she cooks Freshitarian for clients and has that delivered to them. So she's really doing amazing things, and I can't wait to see 10 years from now, 15 years from now, 5 years from now, whatever the timing is right, to see where all of this goes with her. I think she is an amazing person, an amazing spirit. She is definitely, for me, a soul sister, and so I'm excited to bring her to you to share a little of our lives together. Miss Fit Piglet,
Yes.
tell me where Fit Piglet came from.
It was actually divine intervention. I was sitting on my bed one day after work, and I was watching a soap opera, and I literally heard the voice of turn off the TV and get your pen. And so I did. I had my journal sitting there, and it was just like the logo was in my mind. It was very vivid. It was exactly what it was supposed to be, the name and everything. Fit Piglet, the name, I know exactly where it came from and why it was relative to the logo, was because I eat like a pig. And pig's a little harsh. It can be offensive. Piglet's much cuter. And with that said, some of my very dear friends joke around and call me Piglet. And so I'm into fitness, and I've lost a lot of weight. I used to be 200 pounds, and so it's been this lifelong journey. And so Fit Piglet means I still have that hefty appetite. I still like to eat a lot, but I make better choices. And so that's what Fit Piglet's all about.
So why do you think you were chosen to bring the world Fit Piglet?
Experience. I have had a really, I struggled during my teenage years with even understanding my relationship with food. I didn't really know what that was about. I had gained a lot of weight. It's what we did in my family. We all sat down. I was the last person cleaning the kitchen, like with the spoon and the mashed potatoes. That's how I cleaned the kitchen. I ate everything that was left over, even though I was full. And so I can really relate to all different types of cultures, because in every culture, I think there are some type of, what am I trying to say, weird relationships with food. You know, people try to fill voids with food. They try to have a romantic relationship with food, and they date it sometimes, and then they don't. That's the dieting thing. You know, I date my diet, I come on and off, we break up, we're back together. And I did all that stuff, you know. I ate too little to lose weight. I ate too much to gain weight. I went on diets. I ate powdery food and things that were processed and canned. And so it was just really a process of experiencing all that, what happens to your body when you do it. That was all by accident. So I got my education through experience by accident.
So how did you make the transition to not using food that way?
Very confrontational. You know, a lot of people, I think, avoid getting healthy. They do the diet part because they don't want to work with the emotional, spiritual side of their body. They think their body, that they live in just this physical body. Yoga brought that into my life, that you know, I would look at myself in the mirror, and I would look down, you know. And I remember getting in the car one day going, why am I looking down? Like, I was already in shape, I was already fit. Why aren't I wanting to look at myself in the mirror? And so I got in the car and I started thinking about all the things that would go through my head when I would look at myself in the mirror. And I realized then that I had some issues to deal with. So I got a therapist, and I went that route, and that really helped. Did some yoga teacher training. That really helped, peeling back the layers, digging deep. But you know, healing is always a process. And the more that I heal my heart, the healthier my body gets. Of course, the healthier the mind gets. I knew that in order to change my body for the best, I had to change my mind. And so
how do you help people with the whole package?
You know, it's interesting because now there are two ways that I help people. One is through the internet, you know, and through social media and blogging and things like that. So there are people that I help that I don't know, and I don't even know that I'm helping them. And that's the beauty of the internet. But when I work with people one-on-one, and I do Freshitarian consultations, never fails that we end up where I should have a couch and a pen, because it's really never about, people expect me to come in and tell them, you should eat this at this time, and this, weigh your food, and this many calories a day, and I never tell them that. They buy the book, that's all in there. Here's what time you eat, here's what to eat. Now tell me why you're making these decisions.
What are your dreams for Fit Piglet?
My dreams for Fit Piglet are it's a Fit Piglet revolution. It's a movement. So when I talk to people about Fit Piglet, rarely do I try to sell them my book or shirts or clothes or whatever's going on. It's all about just making better choices. So if I can get more people to just make one better choice a week, so my thing is, you don't have to do all this today. This week, get rid of something bad and add something good. So my goal for Fit Piglet is to help these kids have a successful, somewhat normal, real normal, because now people are saying it's normal for a kid to have ADHD. No, it's not normal, but our normal is changing. So my goal is to change normal back to what normal really is.
Fit Piglet is sort of the main story of your life right now. But what are some of the subplots?
A lot of the subplots around my life, Fit Piglet actually encompasses all of those. And that's why I think it's such a genius idea. I don't just talk about working out. I don't just talk about food, nutrition. I talk about all aspects of wellness. And so it's very freeing for me to have this brand and to be kind of behind this face. And so one of the plots in my life has been, and I think will continue to be, being a normal person. I just don't feel like I really ever have been. I've never been completely satisfied with the who. And I'm getting closer and closer. I think it's a lifelong process. That's kind of the plot of my life. Is I don't want to get to know who I am, but I just want to get closer to who I want to be. And so I still have a ways to go. And I believe that Fit Piglet is going to give me the outlet, the freedom. What do you call it when you're the dedication to the path?
Focus.
The dedication to the focus to the path.
So, how long have you been married?
14 years.
And how? See, this is what I want to know.
Mr. Piglet.
How do you guys make that work?
We got asked that question. We were in a training program these last 5 days together, and we didn't even realize that we were really inspiring other people. I guess our communication, but people are always watching.
They are.
Even when you think that they're not looking, because we didn't know they were watching. At the end of the training, they're like, man, you guys really inspire us, your communication, you seem so close, like such great friends, such a great support system. There have been many times in our marriage that we could have made choices that would have driven us apart. Matter of fact, I believe that we did make some choices with some life changes that most couples would not have made it through. But I think ultimately what has kept Richie and I so tight and solid is our friendship. And so at the beginning, I've always been very independent. My mom taught me to always be able to take care of myself, which I'm so grateful for that. But he would say things to me like, I wish you were more dependent on me. I wish you would let me do things for you. And I would say to him, I don't want you for your money. I don't want you because you do things for me. I don't need you in my life. I want you in my life. And for years and years and years, it would drive him crazy. And just a couple of years ago, I think it was our 10-year anniversary, he said, I'm really glad that you want me and not need me. My relationship with God has always been strong, and it just keeps getting stronger and stronger and stronger. But I think that really digging into my yoga practice and it being more than about postures and doing yoga has really brought me so much closer to God and really revealed to me, we had talked earlier about self-realization, and it's really, for me, revealed who am I, who do I want to be, where do I want to go, who do I want by my side. And immediately as those questions come, they're answered right away.
A lot of people don't reconcile yoga with God.
No, they don't. They're afraid of it.
Right.
They separate
Where do
them.
you think that comes from?
Religion.
Yeah.
And to be quite honest with you, I've done a lot of, I listen to a lot of audiobooks, a lot of reading, and I am one of those skeptic Americans that I understand why, I'm going to try to be PC, why our leadership wants to keep us
as followers?
As followers.
Yes.
Thank you.
Instead of thought leaders?
Yeah, because when we come into our own power, we don't really need that leadership necessarily anymore. They can provide the boundaries that we need to keep us safe, but I don't necessarily think our leadership wants us to come into our own power, because we would all become successful and we wouldn't need these drugs anymore. We wouldn't need the doctors as much. And this is a huge business. This all goes back to money. And so I'm not a customer of the pharmaceutical world now. There's a time and place for medicine. I don't disagree with that. I think it's extremely abused and overused. But yeah, so I feel very much like I question a lot of things. My truth has to resonate here with me. And I feel worthy. I don't feel unworthy like a lot of my Christian friends do. They feel unworthy and they feel like they don't deserve this and they feel like they should, you know, and so they look at me and in my yoga practice and I feel worthy and I feel powerful and I feel like I can and will have and do and be the things that I want in my life, and they kind of look at me like, oh, ooh, the yoga, you know, and it's like, no, I really believe God wants us to feel worthy, and for Christians, you know, they say Christ lives in their heart and you still don't feel worthy. To me, that's insulting to God.
Right.
Standing in my own power is good stuff.
What are you most proud of?
My discipline, because I can see how many people lack it. I remember when I first started this path of wellness, I thought, all right, I'm just going to, you know, I was 200 pounds, I'm just going to lose this weight. You know, and I lost the weight, and it's like, okay, now I'm just going to make sure working out is on my book. Now, it's like, I'm going to make sure that I get up on time, I get up early enough to have time by myself, I go on walks, I don't watch TV, like, and there's such discipline in my life.
Tell me about a time in your life that you are absolutely sure, without a doubt, no argument, that you were in the presence of God.
You really want to know that one?
Yeah.
I was assaulted a couple years ago, which is where this tattoo that I was talking about came from. I was out on an exercise walk, and I had my headphones on, and I was in front of a high school and elementary school, and there were people everywhere, because it was like 3:30 in the afternoon, and they had just gotten out, and someone came up behind me and tried to grab me. Now here's the God moment. I'm walking, and I feel like I'm always in spirit, if you know what I mean. Like, you know, some people open a prayer and close a prayer. I don't. I'm just always, like, I always feel like I'm in this conversation with God. At no time, you know, if you catch me dazing off, it's not because I'm I'm like, I'm into something there. And anyway, so I'm walking. Even though I had my headphones on, I was still feeling the spirit. And so I'm walking, and all of a sudden, my hand, without me calling that action, went behind me and I just grabbed right behind my hips. And there was a hand there. And I took that hand, and I went like this, and I pulled it around, and there was a man. And the bill of my hat touched his forehead, and we made eye contact, and his eyes shook. And I was sweaty. He slipped out of my hand, and he ran. I still don't understand how all that happened. I didn't catch him. I had 2 miles to get home. So when I say assaulted, it sounds really bad. So I like to tell the story with it, because that's all that happened, is that he tried to grab me. I chased him, and I had 2 miles. I had to get home, and I was upset. I was freaked out and devastated. So that moment when my hand went back and I grabbed him, I don't know what he was going to try to do to me. I was behind some trees. There's an area of bush between the sidewalk and the road, and I was right behind there. But the wisdom, which is on my left side of my neck, and favor, which is on the right side, God wasn't going to let me get hurt. Strengthened my faith like nothing else. And to a lot of people, I think it would have weakened their faith. How could this have happened to me? Why would God allow such a horrible person or thing to happen to me? And I remember being a victim from the sex abuse when I was a child. And but at this time, it drew something in me. And I don't mean to sound ugly, but if I would have caught that dude, it would have been a real problem. I mean, I wanted to end his life in that moment. Like I was having these visions of what I was going to do to him for days. I had to go see a therapist, and this is where medication came in handy for about a week, because I was talking to the refrigerator. I'm going to kill the guy now. I was getting up at 5 o'clock in the morning looking for his car, because I knew what kind of car he had. You know, just crazy stuff. But I really felt God say, you're strong. You can handle yourself. Don't be foolish. You know, just stay in the spirit. Stay in the spirit. But that happens to me a lot. Not the assault thing, but things will come through me that until they do, I don't know that they were there.
So that has led you to get a concealed weapons permit and have like guns and stuff. So in my mind,
guns and blades and knives, swords.
In my mind, from my perspective, those are a little bit hard to reconcile. So I want to know how you got there. Because God already told you that you can take care of yourself.
Of course. Yes, absolutely.
Right?
Yes.
And so what led you to do all of that other stuff?
That's a really great point and question. This person did not have a weapon on him. Had he had a weapon on him, things could have been very different. And with that said, that, you know, when something like that happens, a car accident or an assault, or I don't know, you hit your head on something, whatever, you see your mortality. And so when that happened, I became a better driver. And I also became more aware at home. I'm home alone a lot by myself. And I have dogs, but they're not the kind of dogs that are going to attack anyone. They're the kind of dogs that say, come on in, take whatever you want. And so, I'm sorry, so my weapon does not come with me when I go out of the house. I do carry a knife when I go out on a walk, things that can be concealed when I go out. And I'm much more aware. I don't wear headphones outside anymore. That's a big thing for me. It got me from being very, very afraid of weapons to understanding them and learning about them. I made sure I went to a guy to get my permit that was going to give us an 8-hour course and not a 3-hour course. How to stand, how to do all these things so that it's not like somebody walks in, I'm going to shoot them. It's more like protection, not. So it stays home, and it's around when I'm home alone. Things have happened in the best neighborhoods around. And so that's what the weapon is for me at home. I carry a knife when I go out on a walk. It's put away. It's a little switchblade. But I just don't want to be messed with.
So what is your guilty pleasure?
Pizza.
And what makes you laugh?
Am I having a guilty pleasure? No, really, what makes me laugh? I really love to hear my grandmother talk about old stories when we were a kid. And I mean, when she tells them, she belly laughs, and that makes me laugh. Like, I love to hear her laugh.
What's your favorite movie of all time?
Dirty Dancing.
Oh, that's so cute.
Yeah, that one and Sound of Music, but that's super old, so.
What was your favorite childhood game?
Freeze tag.
What was your nickname when you were growing up?
Two. I had two. Thunder Thighs, and that is still in my mind forever.
God.
That came from my brother, because he's evil. And Sergeant Shannon. That was my maiden name, was Sergeant.
What is your favorite breakfast?
Oh, that's easy. Scrambled eggs with almond cheese on Ezekiel bread. Yum.
Finish this sentence. Love is...
Ooh, that's easy. Me. That's the first thing that that's, yeah. Love is me.
What is your dream job?
What I'm doing now, with a little bit more freedom and a lot more money.
Yeah. What's your favorite sound in the whole wide world?
Wind chimes. To the point where I have them hanging inside of my house where they don't make noise.
Your last words in life will be?
I just said it to myself. It's breathe. Even if it's my last one. I feel like when you breathe, you mindfully breathe. Because we mindlessly breathe all day long. But when you sit there and for that moment even your last one, you're just taking it all in. And breathe.
And as I sat down and spoke with Shannon, I realized, I think, for the first time, just how much of an influence she has had on my life. Obviously I have her book. She has been a friend and a mentor to me for at least 8, maybe 9 years. But as I hear her talk about her ideas and her movement, it just makes me so grateful that I have had her in my life. She has changed the way, or helped me change the way that I look at food, look at the world, to help me understand my relationship with food. We very much have a similar history, and she, I think in many ways, has been brought to me as someone who walks a few steps ahead of me to show me where I am going and to be a leader for me in that way. She has absolutely helped me and been a godsend for dealing with some of the issues that my oldest son has, with attention issues, what people like to label as ADD or ADHD or whatever, and help me change his food and change the way we eat as a family to make us all healthier, better people.